Hi friends, this is Ganesh and video number 27 on ABAP. So this is going to be a continuation of the previous video, ABAP reports, classical report. Okay, so quickly I just go through whatever we have seen. We have seen the top of page events. We have seen all the events which is applicable for classical. Start with top of page and end with end of page, and the event properties and how to divide the report into so many pages, and each event has its own properties, and there are some prerequisites to trigger the particular event. So how the initialization will work for a screen without a screen programming. So everything we have seen with some examples, and how to trigger end of page in all the pages. And there is a property of top of page. If the right statement is not triggering from the process even like start of page or end of page, start of selection or end of selection, then your top of page it won't trigger it actually the proper way. If there is no data, only the heading is not should be in the particular report. So that is the idea of that. Okay, and then today we are going to see the continuation of the previous one. We are going to see how to remove the standard page heading and how to give the column heading for each field. And there is a hotspot option like hand tool, hyperlink we call it, as how to enable a hyperlink for a particular field, and what is the use of hide statement. So these are things which you're going to see about the classical report in today's session. Okay, let's get into the system. This is the program which I used in the previous video, and the output would be, if I execute 1710, yeah. So I have report is divided into so many pages and with a standard title and underlining, and this is my heading, page heading, this is my data, and this is a footer. So this way it's triggered and displayed, and at the end of the page also the last page also, the end of the page even triggered, because we had a small calculation and we forcefully skip the cursor from the current line to reach the 19th line. Is nothing but where the end of the page even triggers. That is the reason it triggered over here. So first thing we are going to see here is column heading. So I'm going to provide a column heading here. I want purchase order number. This is a company code, and what is next? Maybe I can add a few more fields, and I'm going to add another field or column over here with the heading. So for page, for column heading, we are going to use the same top of page event. I'm going to say write, and purchase order. Then I need to give some space, so I use 20, and here I'm going to give company code. The next one is I can go with vendor. Company code has only 4 characters, but the heading is a little big, so I'll just go with like 35. Vendor, and it needs 10 at least. I'll go with 12 extra, so 48. Purchase org. Okay, so this is my column heading. Based on that, I need to modify my loop, or okay, select star, but best practice normally we won't use select star. We need anyway only 4 fields. So I need purchase order, company code, vendor, and purchase order. Okay, and there is a change in your loop where normally you are displaying the values. I need company code. After that, I want vendor, and finally I need purchase order. Now, how you are going to map? Because the heading is in top of page and the value display in end of selection event. So we need to map it. Okay, then only it will come perfectly. Otherwise, wherever there is a space or whenever the previous value ends, it start displaying in the very next position. Excuse me. Okay, So how to map it? There are two options to map your heading and the value. First option is copy the heading, maybe with single quotes. Copy the heading and use the keyword called under, and within single quotes paste it. So this is one way to map the column heading and the column value. Another way is just copy the position. Whatever position you mention is 20, just use the same. So these are the two options. You can map your column heading position and your column value. And if there is any spelling mistake, what happens is it won't display the value under your exact column heading. Suppose I go with vendor. Okay, let's see how it's displayed. And final one is 48. So either way it works. Go with under keyword or go with the position. Activate it and execute 1710. So it's perfectly comes purchase order under the purchase order heading, company code yes, but vendor no, because there is a spelling mistake. So once the previous field value ends, immediately it starts the value. So that is the reason if there is any spelling mistake, it won't consider or it won't map the exact column heading. So vendor, activate, execute 1710. And probably you might seen my previous video, otherwise I just clarify here. I have very limited information for the purchase order for the company code 1710. So probably I have start with 8, so only 4 purchase orders, but I did do loop the 5 times. I just keep on adding the information. It comes almost 10 or 12 pages, so I repeatedly added the content. Okay, so if you find the video, you may see the purchase order is repeating everywhere, 8 8 8, because I simply used do statement over here, this one, just to make sure I need some more data, so nothing big. And this is done. And what, 1 second, okay, this is a page heading. If you want a color or something else, if you want more space, everything, so you can have it. Okay, and very old report, they might have a lines over here, vertical and horizontal lines, but it's not required because anyway we have an ALV report, so we don't want to do it. Very previous days, some report they might designed with SI U line and V line. It's a very big process to do that, but some programs you might have seen about that as well. Okay, and what is the next one is, okay, here I want to show you one interesting part, one more scenario, how the event behaves. So we know the top of page triggers whenever there is a write statement, either an end of selection or start of selection. If there is a write statement, yes, then the control goes to top of page, then it triggered it, then only the write statement, meaning the heading, will be displayed in your report. Okay, one more scenario is here, if there is no data, I'm just going F8 here, expectation is it should not display the top of page, but here it's displays the top of page. This is one more scenario. How this is getting triggered, probably you might guessed, because of the skip statement, because we forcefully asking the forcefully give the command to the system, do the skip. Okay, so that is the reason. If the skip triggered, automatically top of page also triggers, because something is happening in the report. Write is going to create what you call print or display the value in the report. Same way, skip also forcefully generating the report. If there is a generation is happening in the report, obviously top of page will trigger. Okay, so this is happened because of this skip line. What you can do is, if you command the skip, execute, and the company code is 1000, there is no record for the company code 1000. If I press F8, nothing is happening because there is no command. It's saying generate a report. There is no write statement, there is no skip. Okay, so I want to just inform this. Probably last video I missed it, that's why I'm used here. Okay, Next one is, what is the next one? Okay, no standard page getting. That is one commonly we used. Here, if I go to your report, so this line, title of your program and the other line, it's keep on coming in every page. Sometimes it occupies two lines unnecessarily, right? So out of 20, two is done with end of page and two is done with title of your program. And then title and then underline of the program. And then one for page heading, one for column heading. So the data, actual data count is less in a page, right? That is the reason sometimes we ignore the title of the program because the end user doesn't want title of the program. They want only the column heading or page heading. So for that, there is a statement. It's not a keyword, it's a statement. You have to use it in the first line of your program. That is called no standard page heading. What happens? It will ignore the first two lines of your report, the title of the program and the underline. It's gone. And if you feel you need a line between the page, then you can use a SYST line in your end of page. Anyway, you have one more line in your end of page, right? Because we allocated two lines for end of page. Here it is. We allocated two lines for end of page. So go to end of page here and write. There is a system variable called underline, U line actually. Okay, why this was, yeah. Execute 1710. Here it is. So you have a line under, after every page you will find this underline. So end of the page. And if you need a page number, okay, end of the page I need a page number. So make use of the same line. I'm going to use the same line. I'm going to display my page number as well using a system variable called pagno. And okay, I need to keep it in a position. I want little further, little far to the right hand side. Page number. If you want, you can add some colors. Okay, 6. Execute 1710. Here it is. So page number 1, 2, 3, 4, everything over here. Okay. Whenever you need this kind of values like page number, line count, and current line number, try to find out the things from the system variable structure. SYST is the structure. You will get, at least you will get some relevant information. If not, then try to find out from outside of SAP, like Google it and try to find it. Otherwise, most of the similar kind of values at the runtime it available using SYST structure. Okay, hope I have shown you already. If not, just go to S11 and go to the structure name is SYST. What is happening? It's open. You can go with data type or wherever it is. Oh, sorry. You can type SYST even in a database table, even if it is structure, you can write it because it will take you to the exact page. Just click display, it will take you to the structure, and this is the ABAP system fields. And you can try with short description also. Suppose I want something related to line, so you can go with line. So it shows current line in the current list, line width of the current list. Okay, so mostly try to use SYST for very small needs in your report. And what is the next one? Okay, next I'm going to introduce a hotspot. Hotspot is nothing but a hyperlink. It's for cosmetic kind of changes we are giving to the user for selecting the informations. Like from the classical, they may go to the interactive report, right? So how we can go interactive report? By double click. In SAP, everything is double click to trigger an event. So now instead of double click, user wants to know which field I have to select. then normally we provide an option called hotspot. It's a hand tool. Okay. So now I'm going to enable that option hotspot for the purchase order. So in this line, this is a one which we are displaying the purchase order under this column heading. So here you can add hotspot. Activate. Execute. 1710. So whenever there is a mouse rollover, but here there is no hand tool because I'm not enabled it. I'm enabled only for purchase order. So if you go the cursor, it automatically enabled it. So they click, then it will go to the next page. So normally it's a single click. Instead of double click, the user can give a single click. Okay, that is the use of hotspot. The next one which I'm going to explain over here is how the value is transferred to an interactive report. Anyway, I will tell you very detailed manner in the next video whenever I'm taking the interactive reports, because that is a base for the interactive report. Before going to that, here I just want to know at least how the data is transferred from classical to interactive report. Okay, the same way we can do interactive 1 to interactive 2, interactive 2 to interactive 3. It's a sequence. So for this, once the user clicks, actually I clicked it, once the user clicks, it should go to the next page, or I can say next report. So next report is interactive report. As per our discussion, classical we have only one, you can have 0 to 19 interactive reports. Okay, so if any event triggers, so double click or single click, immediately it will try to find out an event called at line selection. At line selection is an event which triggers or which generates the interactive reports. Okay, so here a small introduction about that event. Here we are going to write both classical and interactive in the same program only. So I'm going to say at line selection is the event which triggers the interactive report or which generates the interactive report. So if you have a breakpoint, execute 1710, and if I just single click, so the cursor go on stops. Previously, if it double click or single click, it didn't go anywhere because there is no event to recognize the single and double click from the classical report. So there is an event to recognize the event triggers is nothing but at line selection. At line selection is the event which generates the interactive reports. Okay. So now another one, how to pass the value, okay, to the at line selection. For that, we are going to use a word called hide, H-I-D-E, hide. So I'm going to keep the hide statement here first, okay, and then in a simple way, whatever is selected, whether it's a double click or it's a hyperlink, I'm going to capture the value of purchase order. Okay, so normally the double click also work. The entire row is a record, right? So you can double click anywhere. So wherever you did double click, or if there's a hotspot, there's single click. But my intention is I want to transfer only the purchase order number from classical to interactive report. So I'm going to gather the value to a normal local variable, and I'm going to keep that value in the hide state. So this is inside the loop because user can select any purchase order, any line, right? So make sure inside the loop you have your hide statement. This is step 1. Step 2, I'm going to display it simply. Instead of breakpoint, I'm going to say write local variable VBELN. It's a spelling mistake. I'm sorry, it's EBELN, okay. Okay. Just execute 1710. I'm going to click 9, purchase order end with 9. So you're able to see 9. Okay. Just go back, go to classical report, and here it's 7, it's 7. and suppose 13 and just double click here 13. So even the single click or double click, it tried to find the event called outline selection in your particular report. Then if that is the case, yes, it start working on it. Whatever code under the outline selection, it start working on it. Okay. So this is a way where we can transfer the data between the reports. It may be a classical to interactive one, sorry, interactive, or interactive 1 to interactive 2, interactive 3 to interactive 4, whatever it is. Hide is the only statement which capture the value between the, or which transfer the value between the reports. Clear? Hopefully I must cover most of the parts of classical report over here. Not just skip page, uline, yep, hotspot and hide. Yes, so play around, and once you are good with ABAP reports, try to include the existing concepts, basic concepts which we have learned, like modulation technique, have an include program, just keep all the data inside, or sorry, keep all the declaration inside. And nowadays we are going with the on the flow declaration, so mostly we don't want to use top include program, or the screen level validation you can keep in one include program. So the same way you can use some other concept, field symbols we have learned. So add more selection screens. Once you're comfortable with the events, then do that. Okay, so play around with this. Hopefully this is the end of classical report. I will come with another video for interactive report, because that needs some basic information, same like classical, some understanding to be done before get into the code. Okay, thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video.